This is where Britain's top commentators speak out on controversial issues without the fear of cancel culture that's sweeping the rest of the media. Now, earlier today, smug sports watcher Gary Lineker arrogantly dared the BBC to suspend him after his comparison of the government's new migrant plan to Nazi Germany. Watch this.
Do you fear getting suspended?
No, morning, mate. How you doing?
Do you stand by what you said?
Sorry?
Do you stand by what you said in your tweet?
Of course.
Well, in a telling move from the British Bashing Corporation, it seems that they have once again bowed to the supposed Be Kind presenter after he confirmed via Twitter that he will still be hosting Match of the Day on Saturday. Well, the Beebs in action raises questions over their acceptance of Lineker's dangerous view that Britain should leave its borders open to thugs like 28-year-old Iraqi immigrant Ribaz Mohammed, who has been jailed now for 6 years after stabbing 18-year-old British student Ellis Wheeler. Mohammed carried out the attack in a bid to be deported after becoming disillusioned with life living in a taxpayer-funded hotel. Kelvin MacKenzie joins me now. That story makes me feel a bit sick, Kelvin. Your views?
Well, it's one of the consequences of just allowing anybody into our country, and they're coming by the boats. And the issue for the BBC is this. In some ways, I bow to Lineker because it's incredible to have that amount of hatred and vileness poured at him and him stand up. So I congratulate him on the free speech issue. I don't congratulate the BBC on it because they know that, in fact, he will be back at this issue for weeks, months and years to come. And I suppose what he's hoping is that he'd outlast the Director General. He would almost certainly outlast the chairman, who appears to have got the job because he arranged for a loan for Boris. So I don't know where we're going on this. My solution to it is quite simple. Anybody who feels that Lineker shouldn't be on the BBC, by the way, be on BT Sport, be on Talk Sport, do whatever you like, start your own TV channel, start your own website, do whatever a successful man, right? Anybody who feels that, why don't they just not pay the licence fee? Because directly the revenues collapsed, so would they then ease him out the door.
But the thing that I don't quite understand for the BBC, Kelvin, the thing I don't quite understand for the BBC is that they have essentially a monopoly on football coverage, Premier League football coverage, at that particular time. Match of the Day is an institution. They do not need Lineker, do they? So what are they so afraid of? Their viewing figures would not drop at all if Gary Lineker wasn't presenting it.
Yes, no, he's just done it for a long time. Congratulations. They don't feel bad about dumping people who've done it for a long time off Radio 2. So why on earth should they worry about dumping people off Match of the Day? It's a goals video show, which is not about a personality. It's about whether the ball goes in the back of the net and what a cute angle it was. So, but the issue for the BBC is that it's not going to go away. So you get clever people like Nick Robinson and these other guys who work for the BBC. They're beside themselves. They are trained not to say anything that is going to either look Conservative or Labour. And actually, I give them credit, and I give Tim Davie credit, because there's been a fantastic effort of late in order to go back to being balanced. And now it's all thrown overboard. You can only get promotion, you can only stay at the BBC if you're in favour of 150,000, 200,000, 300,000 people coming from the Middle East or the whole of Africa. Yeah. After all, Suella Braverman said the other day that there will be 100 million potential migrants coming to our country under the present legislation. Tell me, Mr. Lineker, tell me, Tim Davie, is this acceptable? We've only got 60 million people in our country. We would literally be overnight. The way things stand, would be a caliphate. You know. But the thing is, need to use violence. They could just come here.
When we look at now the story that we just raised before about that individual who came over here and he stabbed someone in a bid to get deported and things. People, I think, will be rightly concerned about that. People will be rightly concerned that the kind of refugee that Gary Lineker had in his sprawling mansion, or whatever it is, will be very different, radically different. In some cases, they put the radical in radically different from the people who might be at the hotel down the road, OK? And they might now feel a bit afraid to talk about that. They might feel as though they have to self-censor as a result of this. And in that sense, is what Gary Lineker has said, plus the BBC's reaction, actually dangerous?
Well, the mother, I don't know whether you've read what the mother has said tonight. The mother of that boy. I mean, she pointed out that another inch further over, it would have hit his spinal column, in which case this might have been a very different discussion. And this would have been a different discussion right at the minute. We have a liberal at the heart of the BBC saying one thing, and somebody, fortunately now recovering, although has not resumed their studies and also has sleep issues. So the mother says, how does this happen? And of course, what do you say to her? It happens because what? Because there are plenty of Linekers out there? There aren't plenty of Linekers out there. Why don't we have a proper poll, 10,000 strong poll, find out what people think? And I urge everybody, and my bet would be it'd be like 65, 70%, 70-30. On 70-30, if 70% of us stop paying our BBC tax, what would happen? They would have Lineker out the door at 100 miles an hour. And that's all I want. I don't want him to carry on saying it. I want him to carry on saying it when I'm funding his pay packet. That's what I want to stop.
Yeah, look, Kelvin, thank you very much. It's always strong stuff. It's always gold. That was Fleet Street legend Kelvin MacKenzie wading in right now.